Now on BBC Two for younger viewers, another story of Harry and the Brollys.
Rainbows climb, clouds drift by, Brollys fly through a magic sky. Is it real? Are they dreams? Nothing appears to be what it seems. Then far away I can hear a voice in the weather house call out a name. Mr. Brolly, it's time for the rain.
Then it came, pouring from the sky, until the earth was fresh again. Then the sun put magic in the air. The Brollys make the weather for you and me.
Harry was trying to go to sleep, but no sooner had he closed his eyes than he opened them again. Tucked up beside Harry in bed were his toys, Elephant and Hippo. Snake, as always, lay on the rug by the door, and Bird was perched on the chest of drawers. Harry stared down at his patchwork quilt. It was different from other quilts. Instead of flowery scraps of material, it was made of little embroidered pictures of rainbows, stars and planets, clouds, and great flashes of lightning in a dark and stormy sky. It had been made a long, long time ago. On the wall hung Harry's weather house. If the day was going to be fine and sunny, Mrs. Brolly came to her door. If the day was going to be wet and cloudy, Mr. Brolly came out. But of course, they never came out together, for it is impossible for a day to be both wet and dry at the same time. But what would happen if they both came out together? Wondered Harry, and he sat up and stared at the weather house. As he stared, the doors seemed to grow larger. His bed grew smaller, and he found himself at the entrance of the weather house. A light was shining from the door, through which Harry could see Mr. Brolly no longer fixed to his wooden stand, but moving freely about the room.
I say it's a wonderful idea, the best I've had. I think it's a silly idea, Brolly.
Harry peeped into the room. Mr. Brolly was standing by the window, his hands clasped behind his back. Mrs. Brolly was sewing patches into her quilt furiously. Even Little Cloud didn't like the raised voices, and he came from Mrs. Brolly's bag and floated to Harry's side.
Just think, my dear. Misty, murky, mysterious fog with the added attraction of my new idea. And I say there's nothing nicer than a clear sky and a nip in the air. Just plain, ordinary, early winter weather. Fog, bigga-bam, boom, boom, shouted the little cloud.
He says he'd like fog too, and a thunderstorm, said Harry. But neither Mrs. Brolly nor Mr. Brolly paid him any attention. A new invention would be exciting, said Harry. And as he gazed down at the computer keyboard, he saw a button which he had never seen before. So, Harry pressed it.
Hello? You pressed the invention button. What would you like to invent?
A new kind of weather, said Harry.
Well, that's a good idea, said the computer. I do a very nice mist. Would you like to see it?
Yes, please, said Harry. At once, a lovely white mist began to drift about the room, and Little Cloud vanished, suddenly and completely. Wrapped in this veil, he began to make thunderbolts, and they shone through the mist, pale and golden, like little winter suns. The effect was delightful. Harry was pleased. He had invented a new kind of weather, with the help of Little Cloud and the computer, fog and sunshine together. What shall I call it? He said.
How about, fun?
Suggested the computer. Harry liked this name. Mr. Brolly, he said, I've made a new kind of weather. It's called fun. As he spoke, Mr. Brolly came into the room, carrying a box. Whoops, said the computer, and at once the lovely mist vanished, leaving the little cloud looking a bit surprised and holding a sparkling thunderbolt.
There you are, my boy, said Mr. Brolly. I've just invented a use for fog.
Fog, said the computer, and it coughed and switched itself off.
Now, pay attention, said Mr. Brolly.
He had opened his box, and grey fog was drifting out.
The thing about fog is, it hides things, said Mr. Brolly. Now, suppose there was something you didn't like the look of. Hide it in fog.
Seeing Harry's puzzled expression, he hurried on.
Now, take as an example my hat. Suppose I didn't like it, huh?
Immediately, the fog drifted up and hid his hat.
Or take that untidy corner that you simply don't have time to do anything about.
As Harry gazed, the entire mess was hidden by fog.
And it's not just useful. It's mysterious. It's beautiful. It makes things seem different. Look.
Harry gazed at the Weather House garden. Mr. Brolly was right. The blue sky, the green grass, the many colours of the flowers, all were now shades of grey. The next moment, blippy, bloop, big-o! The little cloud was nowhere to be seen, the entire room being filled with fog.
Where are you?
Cried Harry, and he ran blindly across the room, knocking over the waste paper basket. The cries of Little Cloud seemed to come from first here and then there. Blippy! Bloop! Reaching out, Harry caught hold of him and hugged him. Dimly, by his side, he then saw the shape of Mr. Brolly by the computer keyboard.